the hotel has nevertheless developed a reputation for horror that defines its legacy to this day. The last body was found at the Cecil Hotel in 2015. Did you know this?
No, I didn't.
Ooh. A man who reportedly committed suicide, and ghost stories and rumors of the hotel's haunting swirled once more. The hotel even subsequently served as the chilling inspiration for a season of American Horror Story about a hotel that's home to unimaginable murder and mayhem. In 2011, the Cecil Hotel made an attempt to shake its macabre history by rebranding itself as the Stay on Main Hotel and Hostel, a $75 per night budget hotel for tourists. And a few years later, New York City developer signed a 99-year lease and began gut renovating the building to include an upscale boutique hotel and hundreds of fully furnished micro units in keeping with the surging co-living craze. You can't polish a turd.
Okay,
You just can't.
change the name all you want. It still has the bones
Yeah.
of the hotel.
The blood soaked into the foundation. And maybe one day the Cecil Hotel will be able to shake its troubled past. And maybe one day everyone will forget about all the murders, suicides, and serial killers who preyed on their innocent victims. Or maybe they won't. But no matter how many times we change the face and the name of the hotel, we will never be able to change the blood-soaked history that haunts the Cecil Hotel today and every day after.
Ooh, gross.
And that is the history of the Cecil Hotel. And for some reason, saying Cecil Hotel is hard for me to get out of my face.
It's it's kind of a tongue twister.
Kind of.
But you say it over and over. It's like, hush, 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 hush.
There are so many more murders than this. There are so many more suicides than this.
I know.
I mean, these were just the ones that made headlines and stuff, but there were hundreds and hundreds, and some of them were brutal.
Even like you add in like the addicts that would overdose or, any little small thing, heart attacks, anything like that.
That's why I went into so much on Skid Row, because while it's not the Cecil Hotel, it's everything around it.
You have to know the kind of clientele that were around and all the things that they would get into.
Exactly. I wanted to make sure that we knew the environment that this hotel was in.
And it's unfortunate because I think a hotel like that could have been amazing,
I'm pretty sure at one point it was. It just didn't last very long.
Yeah.
The Great Depression really ruined that place. But that's the history, and I'm pretty sure you have some stuff to tell us too.
I do, but
it wouldn't be complete.
I do, but I do have to say yours was very interesting, very intriguing, and I thoroughly enjoyed that.
Well, thank you. I actually had a good time doing this one. I was actually looking forward to doing this one.
Yeah, me too. All right.
But what do you got, Megan?
To walk around downtown Los Angeles is to see ghosts. Even on a crisp, bright Sunday morning, they are impossible to miss. The ghost of a thriving financial district, once dubbed the Wall Street of the West, now sits abandoned. The ghost of beloved streetcar system that was ripped out in the 1960s, leaving LA dependent on congested freeways. And if you believe in this sort of thing, there are also ghosts of all those who have suffered and died at the Cecil Hotel, whose checkered history is referred to as hell on earth. From so many suicides, murders, housing of serial killers, and so much depression, gore, and gloom, it's no wonder people flock to the Cecil Hotel for the paranormal. One fun fact I found, as you started to say, was American Horror Story Hotel Season 5. It said that the Hotel Cortez from the show is inspired by the Cecil Hotel. The biggest clue came from American Horror Story creator Ryan Murphy, who hinted that a video of a girl in a hotel elevator inspired him to make the series.
Oh.
He said, quote, "A girl gets in an elevator in a downtown hotel and she is never seen again," end quote. There are a number of similarities between the Cecil Hotel and the fictional Hotel Cortez. They were both built in the 1920s, and they have gilded Art Deco styles, and are both located in downtown Los Angeles. One of the major parallels between the two is that the real-life serial killer, Richard Ramirez, is portrayed in American Horror Story Hotel.
Yes, he was.
He was a minor character in the series, though. While the show focuses primarily on the spirits and monsters that haunt this location, fans will remember the entire premise of Season 5 revolves around guests who check in the hotel and never check out.
And vampires. I remember vampires being in it.
I guess that goes along with the monster type of theme, I guess.
It's American Horror Story.
Yeah.
It's always like 9, 10, 15 different topics. Still a good show, though.
Super good show. It was actually one of my favorite seasons.
Yeah.
Was the hotel.
Yeah, I mean, it was up there.
Yeah. One of the biggest ghost hunting shows visited the Cecil Hotel. Ghost Adventures released a special about the Cecil Hotel. When Zach Baggins was interviewed about his time at the Cecil Hotel, he called the hotel spectacularly frightening. Zach quoted before the release of their Cecil Hotel special that, quote, "It doesn't get bigger or more sinister than this," end quote. He has a special connection with the Cecil because he has collected some of the Night Stalker's drawings, clothes, and even his television from his death row cell. Baggins believes that dark energies dominate the hotel, and in an interview with Den of Geek, he said, quote, "I've been to a lot of places throughout the world, but when you walk through the doors of the Cecil Hotel, you know there are other doorways to other worlds. If we were to see deeper dimensionally, we would see all these other doors and rooms, and I believe it goes way down into the earth and draws a lot of energy through it. It is then magnified by the dark energy and criminal activity of Skid Row and amplified by the rituals Jack Unterweger and Richard Ramirez did there," end quote. Zach believes that the satanic rituals added an evil residue to the building. However, he also thinks there is something supernatural about the grounds on which the building stands. He also stated that the Cecil was messing with him and his crew's minds and electronic equipment. Fellow investigator Aaron Goodwin was also overcome with feelings of rage while inside the hotel. Even a crime scene photographer was so disturbed being inside the hotel, he needed to leave. While at the Cecil, the Ghost Adventures crew believed they encountered several spirits, including those of Elisa Lamb, Richard Ramirez, Pigeon Goldie Osgood, and more. While the team experienced physical afflictions, including unexplained scratches, it was a moment of paranormal activity that had the biggest impact on Baggins. Investigating alone in one of the hotel rooms where Jack Unterweger stayed, he witnessed the bathroom water faucet turn on by itself. Zach says, quote, "I didn't know what to do. You had to literally twist the handle for the water to go on. That wasn't a motion-activated faucet. That's one of the most terrifying moments that I have had," end quote.
That's one of the most...
That's what he said.
You know, I love that Zach made the Cecil accessible for everybody. Mm-hmm. But it's Zach.
I know.
And I'm sorry,
I know.
Look, I'm sure there's people out there that hate me for this, but I can't help it.
I know.
He's Zach Baggins, bro.
He is. And he is...
I love that you still will not call him Baggins.
No, I won't.
You read that without skipping a beat.
I know. It's Baggins. It's literally how it is spelled.
But I do, like I said, I do appreciate that he was able to bring something like that into the spotlight. Mm-hmm. So, you know, it's a sacrifice.
I do too. And I think that the Cecil Hotel doesn't have the Waverly Hills amount of paranormal stuff out there. It just doesn't. And I mean, is that due to it being closed and only special people can get in there?
Probably.
I don't know, but
I think there's been less opportunity for experiences to happen.
Yeah, and that's why, I mean, we really only have a little bit to look at and to take from, you know. So my story for today goes into another group that has gone, and I wanted to basically tell you their experience
Okay.
that they had there. The YouTube channel TFIL visited the Cecil Hotel last year. During their exploration inside the hotel, before they did their full investigation, was when they realized that this hotel is absolutely not a joke. The guys usually joke around during the beginning as they explore and talk about the history of a place. So they began by separating in groups on their own to explore because of the size of the hotel and could cover more ground that way. While they were walking around, they all would hear footsteps or bumps down on the other end of a hallway, or they would step off the elevator. They would walk away to begin exploring a new floor, only to have the elevator mysteriously called back up to the floor that they were already on, minutes later, with no one pushing a button. Once they got up to the 7th floor, after passing many floors and many other rooms, they came upon one room at the very end of the hallway. The door to the room was open, one of only a few they had come across. But it was the only door that was completely propped open. This one room, out of hundreds and hundreds of other rooms, had furniture. More specifically, it was the only room with a bed. Not one single other room did. Getting a weird and strange vibe from this specific room and wondering why it was the only room the way that it was, they decided to do a quick investigation. They set out some cat balls, a REM pod, and turned on the spirit box and started an Estes method session. As one person sits with headphones on connected to the spirit box, that is all they can hear. The white noise in their ears. They don't hear the questions that are being asked. They only say the answers that come through and repeat them out loud. The others beginning to ask questions to reach out to any spirits that may be there. And right away, they start getting answers. Danger. Stay away. So they ask, do you want us to stay away from the Cecil Hotel or this room specifically? The answer they get, leave my room. They talk amongst themselves for a moment, and all of a sudden, is this your friend? Comes across the static. They reply, well, yes, you're talking to our friend. And the answer to that, stay away from me, comes from the spirit box. They ask, do you want us to get out? Do you not feel comfortable? They immediately get cut off, paralyzed. Did something happen in this room? Why advise? Why are you stuck in this room? What happened? Let's go places. They pause and ask further. Can you tell us your name? Cece, it's not safe. They continue to ask questions, and the spirit box calls one of them by name. Corey. Corey himself replies, yes, that's my name. Are we safe in here? Getting no answers for a few moments, Corey, the one whose name was called, decides he will take a turn and listen to the spirit box this time. The other guys begin asking questions one more time. And the very first thing they hear, Cece, I think you should. I'm trying to leave. Puzzled, they are finally able to get another question in and ask, are you stuck in here? The answer they receive, the underworld. They start asking a few more random questions, And they say, if you want us to leave,